Hey you guys, it's your girl AP and welcome back to my channel. It has been a couple of months since I last came here to talk to you guys, and when I did, I was discussing vitamin deficiency, thyroid issues, post-duodenal switch surgery, aka DS. And I don't really have much of an update because I haven't gone back to the doctors. It's not time for me to yet. I do have a follow-up with my bariatric office in November. And by December, I have a follow-up with endocrinology to see how my thyroid labs are doing. However, I think between that video and now, I did have a follow-up with my endocrinology. My TSH was down to a 15, which is still high. So we've increased the dosage to 200 micrograms. And I am using the soluble version of Tirosint. To be honest, how I'm feeling is very fatigued a lot lately, and I don't know if that is vitamin deficiency related. I always feel like I still have sleep apnea, even though I've been tested twice and I have no apnea. I've done some research and found that if you sleep with your mouth open, it can mimic the symptoms of sleep apnea, and I don't know if that's what I'm experiencing. I did tape my mouth shut a couple of nights, and it did seem to make a difference. So I might go back to doing that. But the constant fatigue and exhaustion is really weighing me down. I'll be honest in saying that it is October and fall here on the East Coast, and weather is changing. Time is changing, so on and so forth. And I'm a person who has seasonal affective disorder, aka SAD. So when the seasons change, this is the time of the year where I'll start to slip into a depression, and this year is no different. I'm beginning to feel the effects of that as we speak. So it's hard for me to know if what I'm going through is directly linked to the DS or the thyroid or depression. I don't honestly know. I know I'm doing my best to get adequate rest every night to kind of combat it. I have started a new job. I do have an earlier schedule in the day. So I don't know if that's a part of things, but I feel like I'm just in a season of adjustment and transition, and it's just challenging right now. And that doesn't impact my desire to want to create content. I haven't written a blog article in God knows how long, and there's so much stuff that I actually want to write about and talk about on my blog. I don't have the energy to do it. I want to be a person who, when I take up space on the internet, do so in a positive way and let it be a reflection of myself, my morals, my character. But I also don't want to be somebody who puts on a show for my audience, because that's not who I am. And I've always prided myself on being authentic and transparent, especially when it comes to things about wellness. So I'll be honest in saying I think it's time that I seek some professional help, because I find myself struggling for the first time in a really long time with my ADHD symptoms. So my focus is really non-existent, and I'm feeling the effects on my job more. And I don't know if that means medication. And I also feel myself getting depressed. I'm trying to do the things to help myself, like talking it out with my husband, exercising, getting fresh air, but it might not be enough. So I have new insurance because I have a new job. So I need to find a new therapist and a new psychiatrist who would manage medication. But I think these are things, especially with my prior experience with mental health, I think it's time for me to get ahead of things before it spirals out of control. And with my experience with depression, it has the propensity to spiral out of control really fast. It is not easy right now with how I see myself and my body. I'm very well aware that I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm having days where I am struggling to look at my body and like it. And I know that may sound absurd to people who are like, oh my God, if I had been your size, I would be so excited to be smaller. And I'm sure you would. A lot of people feel like they would. But the reality is, I live in this body. And believe it or not, although I was 500 pounds, 450 pounds and whatnot, like I didn't hate my body. So to see the weight have come off in such a significant amount and then kind of leave remnants behind in the form of saggy skin, I am so grateful for what this surgery has afforded me in terms of getting back to life, mobility, and running around with my kids and wearing heels again, and not having to worry about mobility access and things like that. But in the same breath, I'm struggling to like what I actually look like. And I think it's time for me to talk to a therapist about it. I thought I was doing okay with it because some days were better than others. But as of recently, I'm really finding myself like triggered when my husband touches me, and that's not a good thing because he's always touched me. He's always been very hands-on. So when he's touching my body, I'm like self-conscious, and I'm like, oh, and he's not doing anything. He's not berating me or diminishing my looks. In fact, he does all that he can to remind me how beautiful I am to him. I am struggling with that, and it's not his load to carry. So it's something that I definitely think I need to address. So I'm not going to stay here super long because I don't have any real updates as far as my results with DS. We'll see. I don't weigh myself anymore. I think I've said this in previous videos, and I'm going to continue to stand by that because I'm done with my weight loss leg of the journey. Like, I have no desires to actually lose any more weight. I'm more so trying to maintain, and of course I would like to build up more muscle mass, specifically in my core, because that is the weakest point of muscle on my body according to my Sika scans. But I've been slacking on my macking. Like, I'll be honest, like, I have not been maintaining my exercise routine the way that I was, and a lot of this has to do with fatigue and exhaustion and depression. And I know I need to be able to combat it, but I'm human and I'm struggling right now. So I don't want to come here and paint myself as like this 100% picture perfect DS patient, because I'm not that. The best I can give you is my honesty and just tell you guys what it has been like post-op for me. And this is where we're at this current leg of the journey in 2023. The one thing I am grateful for is the amount of work I did with therapy prior to having DS, during my, initial losing phase in the first year and after. I always encourage anybody, I don't care what surgery you're having, to really get some mental health therapy because you're going to need those coping tools. The only reason I haven't spiraled is because I do have coping mechanisms that I can fall back on that I've learned. And that's really essential to my being able to be, to keep my head above water right now, so to speak. So it's not perfect, but it's working. And that's only because I did that work prior to getting into the OR for a weight loss surgery that is going to completely shift how you see yourself and how your body looks, and even your mindset, your relationship with food. So these are all things that, if you're watching this, I'm always going to encourage you to make sure you address, especially if you are pursuing any type of bariatric surgery. Once I've had my appointment and my labs drawn for DS, I will definitely come back and let you all know about how we're doing with the vitamin regimen. And of course, when I have some news back about the thyroid, I will definitely let you guys know. Shout out to all my arthritis warriors, my thyroid babies, my bariatric beauties, because my chronic illness warriors. Like, shout out to all of you guys who have made this channel what it is and who come here to get their answers and ask questions and keep the conversations going. Whether you follow me over here or on Instagram, I always hope it can be a wealth of knowledge and information that will be useful and helpful to whoever is watching this. I will see you guys another time, hopefully by the end of November. But until then,